Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. Glad you're able to join us this evening. So our topic this month is Pinewood Derby, because that's kind of what's on everybody's mind now and what's coming up. And I know I see a lot of people in this room that probably have quite a bit of experience with Pinewood Derby. Maybe some people are a little bit new to it, or maybe have been there but never actually been in the planning, behind the scenes planning it. So we have some tips and tricks to share with you um, for planning and hosting your Pinewood Derby. And I can't take credit for much of this. This actually came from an article that was posted online on Scouting Magazine. They had a list of 20 tips and tricks for planning your Pinewood Derby. And so we used those, and then I added some things, but please feel free. There's a lot of people with Cub Scout experience in here as we're going through this. If you have a tip or something you'd like to add, please feel free to jump in. There will be a time at the end also for us to kind of everybody to share some of their own tips. All right, so I kind of broke this down into some different stages and different parts of planning. So one of them is getting everybody ready, right? Making sure your scouts and your families are ready and informed and know what they need to know. And so some of those tips include making sure that your pack has rules. There are actually no official Scouts BSA rules for Pinewood Derby. Um, there's some suggested rules that are on the box, and we do have a Council Pinewood Derby coming up. So one suggestion is to, if your scouts are going to race in that one and use their same car, probably a good idea to use the same rules that the council is going to use. Good idea to use those rules on the box, and then you're in pretty good shape. But keep that in mind. Hosting a car making workshop. This is something that our pack does every year. Some scouts have families with all the equipment and for woodworking and things like that, but others do not. So having an event where the scouts and parents and whoever is making a car can come and make their designs and cut out their things. And there's lots of ideas on YouTube, tips for building fast cars. Um, the internet is your friend in terms of designing your car. Um, Probably too much out there. You can get overwhelmed if you have ever done a search on building a Pinewood Derby car, for sure. Um, Encouraging the right amount of parental involvement. So Pinewood Derby really is intended to be something that parents and scouts do together, but we want to make sure that the scouts are involved, right? That it's not just something the parents are taking over. Um, and so new scouts, they might need a little more help, especially if they've never been through it before. Older and more experienced scouts, they maybe can do most of the work themselves, from beginning to end. Another tip would be to, on a separate day or maybe earlier before the race, hold an event where you go through your inspections to make sure the cars are all meeting the requirements, the rules that you've set. This would be a time that people can kind of do some practice runs, make sure their cars make it to the end of the track. That's something we always do on our pack. We want the kids to all have a good experience, and so we give them ample time to practice, make sure the cars run well, and then once they get checked in, they do get essentially impounded until the race begins. They're not allowed to make any more modifications as far as that goes. Probably the most important thing that you as a leader could do to prepare is to make sure that you're not doing it all yourself, right? Delegating responsibility. So this could be, your unit could have a committee that's doing this, and the suggestion in the article that I looked at was to have different crews of individuals. So like a track crew is really essentially setting up the track, the timing system. They're the ones doing the scoring, running it, all of that. Um, then you could have something like a pit crew that are going to run your check-ins and all your inspections, help with repairs at the last minute, or even as the race is going on. And then there's a lot of sitting and waiting between races. So we want to make sure our Cub Scouts stay active. So having a group of people that plan some activities to keep everyone busy when they're not racing. Maybe the most important of all is to have a good group of individuals to plan for some food and snacks and things to keep everybody happy as the race is going on. All right, so another kind of group category to think about is how you're going to determine your racing categories and your awards. And so you want to determine ahead of time what categories you're going to recognize. So it's very typical to recognize the top 3 winners of each division, like each den. If you're racing by den, you might have a division for siblings. You might have a division that's open to only parents. I know in our pack, we have a division that's open to parents, and that we call that our outlaw division. Essentially no rules. It lets the parents have a little bit more fun. They don't have to follow all of the rules that the kids have, and they can really try to make a fast car if they want. But then you can also have other awards for design creativity, sportsmanship. Last year, we actually started doing a best gas mileage award. So that was the slowest car in every den that still made it across the finish line. So it was kind of a fun way to just have a little bit of fun, and so that those kids that maybe didn't do as well as they thought, they still got to have a little bit of fun. And then we actually held, during our pack championship race, we had all of the slow cars from the dens race for what we called the Golden Turtle Award. And that was the overall slowest car in the pack that still was able to cross the finish line. And I've heard of packs where scouts will actually try to build their car to be the slowest one so that they can win that Golden Turtle Award. One thing to keep in mind, though, is it doesn't have to have an award for everybody. Just recognize certain people, and it's a good learning experience and a fun experience, even if not everybody gets an award. And then lots of ideas for awards themselves. Of course, there's lots of things you can purchase. The Scout Shop has awards. I think a lot of the local trophy shops even have Pinewood Derby themed trophies and medals and things like that. But I know a lot of packs also try to save a little bit of money and get creative by making their own awards. So either building them out of wood. I'd have heard of packs that have used old car parts and used those for awards. Or maybe instead of awarding medals, it would be spark plugs on a lanyard or something like that. I think if I've also heard of checkered flag neckerchiefs. I think actually at least one pack in our council does checkered flag neckerchiefs for den winners, or maybe the top 3 in the dens. So this is a good time to get creative. All right, and then details for race day. Things that you definitely want to make sure that you have set up and ready to go to have a smooth race. So always remember that you need to have the essentials: your track, your timing system, your computer. Got to have your awards. It's always a good idea to have repair supplies, extra things, extra graphite, so that people can make those last minute repairs on race day. And then anything you need to check cars in, whether it's scales or measuring devices, things like that. I highly recommend using an electronic timing system, especially if you have a lot of racers and close races. I always thought I don't want to be the parent that's making that call on a really close race. And a lot of the timing systems and the racing software that goes with them really can set it all up for you. Set up the heats so that it's fair, so that every car gets to race in every lane. The software determines the winners, and will even determine if a race off needs to happen. All right, couple of other things to make the day run smooth and more fun. Decorations are always fun with Pinewood Derby, so there's lots of options here. Checkered flag themed things, NASCAR themed things. One tip would be to maybe talk to local auto shops, or if you have a local racetrack in your community, they may be able to donate things to just use for the day. Having a photo booth or a photo station with a backdrop so that scouts can pose with their car, or maybe their family, or if they win the trophy, they can or an award, they can pose with that. Just makes an added little touch. Making sure we have lots of extra help, whether that's judges to oversee some of those special categories, extra volunteers, things are always going to come up. And then I mentioned earlier, maybe the most important thing of all, having some food there because everybody's going to get hungry. There's lots of ways to do that, right? Potluck could provide snacks. I've heard of some packs even use it as a fundraiser and sell food as lunch and things like that. All right, and then so that's kind of the list of 20 from Scouting Magazine, and then here's just some extra tips that I was able to find. So I mentioned already having spare parts. You want to follow the rules, because if you don't follow the rules, then why have them? But at the same time, don't be so strict that if somebody is not within the rules, give them a chance to make a quick fix if they need to. If something happens to their car during a race, give them a chance to make a fix. You can always go on to another division while those scouts are getting things fixed up. At the same time, that kind of goes along with keep it moving. We don't want lots of delays and things like that, because that's when people get antsy and that becomes not as much fun. Watching out for those ultra competitive parents. I don't know if that's so much of a problem, and we don't really see that in our pack, but I suppose it could happen. Has anyone seen the movie Down and Derby? I think that's the name of it. It's it, it's a movie about it's about the Pinewood Derby, and essentially the storyline is all of the dads decide that they're going to make sure that their kids win the Pinewood Derby, and so it's kind of funny. I think one of the funniest lines in the movie is one of the scouts says, "Well, I can't wait till I'm a dad so I can build my own Pinewood Derby car." So but offering a different division for parents, maybe without rules, that they can get in on the fun as well. One tip also is to let the Cub Scouts have a good seat so they can stay engaged. They can see what's going on. When our pack does this, we always have the den that's racing. We have seats right up front, and that den gets to come up and right next to the track to watch their race. And then we keep it moving through. Another tip is, everybody loves to race their car, and maybe they want to race it a little bit more after the race. So while things are getting cleaned up, you can leave the track open, or have a starter helping so that the kids can do some fun racing. One thing to keep in mind is to be helpful to other packs too. There might be smaller packs that need a little bit of help. Maybe they don't have maybe it's a new pack that doesn't have their own track. And so offering, a combined Pinewood Derby. We actually did that with Pack 91 combined with a couple of other packs up at Camp Decorah for our Pinewood Derby last year. It was a really good event, and everybody had a good time. In some of the smaller packs, it gave those scouts a chance to actually compete, and not be like the only one in their den racing a car. And then the last one, of course, just maintain perspective, right? It's about fun. It's about kids doing a project with the help of their parents, and that's what it should all be about. So I thought it'd be good to maybe go around the room here, and just maybe everybody could share a tip or a trick that might be helpful, especially maybe if it's something that you didn't see up there. So I'm just going to go down the list. David, I see you first.
Had to find the button here. I guess we've done a couple with our pack that since I was a scout years and years ago. But I know one issue that I've had is we have an old electronic timing system of trying to get it to work right. It seems to work when I've tried it at home, and it doesn't when we've had the Pinewood Derby. So have a plan B. How are you going to do things if your timer system doesn't work?
That's a really good tip. Having a backup, and that's where some of those extra volunteers that you're recruiting might come in, right?
Right. We had some different colored paper cups at the end of the racetrack, And so, parents would watch and which one got knocked up first.
Oh, which one? Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I like that. All right, Steve, I see you. So, what your time when you were involved with Cub Scouts?
Yeah, I think another tip is we'd always have a scout or a Cub Masters pick. Kind of just have an additional opportunity for a car to be picked out from amongst them. And then on top of that, we would do a like a People's Choice Award. Who had the neatest design, because some kids kind of go out there and I might not build the fastest car, but I'm going to build the fanciest car or the neatest car. So that was always an additional kind of um, uh, part of the Pinewood Derby that we always enjoyed. And even if that kid didn't win a race, he still had a medal or a trophy to show for his effort.
Yeah, we do something similar in our pack where we have this. We actually have the scouts vote on their favorite, and then we have the leaders vote, and we have some scouts that, I mean, I've heard scouts say, I don't care if my car is fast, I just want it to look cool, right? So,
Exactly.
so that's kind of a neat part of it too. I see John next.
Okay, well, yeah, pretty much you've heard some of them already. In other words, always have a backup for when your fancy electronics decide to fail at the last minute. And we've done the system with well, last year we had a number of parents help because all of a sudden the bottom part of our track was missing. So we had to run the whole thing manually, but it worked well. And again, I think the ideas that you, Steve, were pretty much the different categories we had. We do have the parents vote on best design car, so that you get obviously a parent will favor their own to a degree, but you get a good cross section. We always had awards for everyone, so far as everyone in our pack who participates at least gets a participation patch or ribbon. I think that's important.
Yeah, I think they do make patches for Pinewood Derby
Yep.
every year, I believe. So those you can
We
get
have
so
those at
everybody.
the scout shop.
I know you do.
Yeah, lots of them. Come on down.
Awesome. All right, I think I see Brenda next.
I actually have two things. One is always have a line on a backup emergency block of wood for this car that breaks the night before.
Yeah.
I think I've had to call Matt to get that one, and that was like very stressful. The other one was when my older son was in Cub Scouts doing the Pinewood Derby. They got driver's licenses.
Oh,
Little driver's license cards, and I thought that was pretty cool. So that would be a really cool idea to come up with too, is have those. So
I like that idea.
yeah, it's kind of neat to look back in his photo album and see that and they're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I forgot about it, but yeah.
Great. All right, Tom, I see you next.
Well, I'm thinking of our experience last year. We joined up with the other pack in Sparta and did a joint Pinewood Derby. And I think our biggest issue was crowd control. It's like, no matter how many times you say, stay back away from the track, you're always talking to somebody else's kid. You're not talking to the one that's walking across the track. So a little better policing of that. And it came off. There was some growing pains with it, but it came off. The one thing that it did impress me, and I hate to tell you this, was that we had, as far as food and things like that, that was not well planned. And I had two young ladies in my pack who sold a lot of Girl Scout cookies that day. They went up and down the row and just sold box after box of cookies. The other thing is just a long-standing thing is who built the car? The kid built the car, the dad built the car. The dad really built the car. To me, it makes no difference. I mean, if they're working together on it, that's the important part. But just my own little sadistic sense of humor is you do an open race after and take the pillows and blankets away from the end of the track. And the ones where the kid sends the car down and the dad is, dad built that one.
Sure, that's a good tip. Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as crowd control, I know like in our pack, we actually have some checkered flag, like flagging material that we string in front of the track so that it's actually physically blocks the track from others. So
Mhm.
something like that can be helpful for sure. All right, I
Crimson.
see. Yeah. All right, next I see Mike.
So I've learned both years now, but it's not so much a tip for the Derby itself, but for the preparation for it is, to have it written down like a checklist. I think both years I've always forgotten something. We've had to run back to a grab it. I think one year was a cord to plug the timer thing in with, and then last year I forgot all the clips that hold the pieces of the track together. So I've got a written list now so that I don't trust my own memory that I have everything I need.
That's a great idea. Yeah, having a checklist.
And then we've done like some others I mentioned too. I think one year we did, because we had like 4 kids, we gave everybody 2 cars, and one was your racing car and one was just make whatever, so then they could have their car to go fast and their cool car. So we could judge, both. I think last year I found a whole bunch of Lego bases that had wheels on them. And so I gave everybody a set of the bases and the wheels, and they all made a Lego car for their second car.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, anything you can do to make it more fun, more interesting, more engaging, right?
Yeah.
Great. All right, I see Sue next.
Last year we had, I mean, we're a smaller group, so we had the kids have a friend make a derby car too. So then they raced against a friend.
Oh,
They
that's
seemed to
fun.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, great. And a great way to introduce some other kids to Cub Scouts too, right? So great. I see James next.
This will be my first go around with the Pinewood Derby, so
Okay.
I'm taking everything in everyone is talking about.
Great. Well, hope it goes well for you, and you got a lot of people here with experience that you can reach out to with questions. How about Tanya?
This will be my first year of doing it by myself. Last year we went on with a couple other groups, and that went awesome. My kids have now raised enough money, and we just bought our own Pinewood Derby track, so we are set to go and take off this year.
Great. Is your track assembled yet?
It is not assembled. It is all in the boxes yet in my garage.
Okay. Leave plenty of time for assembly. That's
Yeah,
my
we're
tip.
planning on, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, we're gonna go assemble it. So
Yeah, we bought a new track a couple of years ago, and we actually 2 nights before we were there assembling, and it was kind of a 2-night deal, and it's things came up, and we got it now. But all right, well, good luck to you.
the one question I do have real quick,
Yeah,
I have an old track, an old 2-lane track. What's your guys' thoughts on what to do with it?
I don't know.
Maybe
Anybody?
some new pack could use it. Startup pack.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, we have, I mean, new packs or at the office. I mean, yeah, you could try to, depending, I don't know exactly what you're trying to do with it, but I'm sure, yeah, some new pack could use it.
Hate to age myself here, but is it aluminum or is it wood?
It's aluminum.
Okay.
It's missing a few things on it, is what I was told, but there's no timer with it at all.
we have an old track as well that we're kind of just sitting in storage, and we're not sure what to do with. So if anybody knows of anybody that needs a track, so you said yours is a 2-lane. Ours is a 4-lane, so there are some tracks available that could go to a unit in need, it sounds like, if anybody hears of that. All right, so I did find, again, I'm not going to take credit for this. So this comes from a website called Cub Scout Ideas. If you have not checked that out, there's a lot of good resources there, and they actually have a monthly email you can subscribe to. And one of the emails recently was just a whole bunch of Pinewood Derby resources. So all of these links to different articles. So there's some articles here on tips on building a car, some tips on running your Pinewood Derby as far as ideas for awards, certificates, how to decide what your rules are going to be, some different ideas for entertainment, playlist of music that you could run during the Derby, some printable activities, coloring things at the tables, and then some food ideas, maybe some racing themed food. So these are all links that you can open. And so this will be posted on the Roundtable website and available for you to check out if you haven't seen it already. All right, so we're running a little short on time, but I want to make sure Steve gets a chance to promote the Council Pinewood Derby that's coming up.
Yes, so the Cub Scout District is bringing back the council-wide Pinewood Derby. We've been working hard trying to get this all put back together. And we are glad to announce that Saturday, April 22nd, we will be hosting the Council Derby at the Valley View Mall. We're going to have a check-in at time between 9:30 and 10:15, and we will then have the race time and going on through to about the noon hour, give or take, as long as all the tracks are working properly. So we're going to have it'll be a $5 entry fee. You can find more information about the event on the council's website. And then we also will have few accessory type activities going on. The axe throwing station, we'll have a photo booth. And I believe also we're borrowing the Lego track from the lacrosse library. So there'll be plenty to do there. The divisions that we've set up is for each age group will have an entry race, and then we're also going to do an open, and then we also are going to bring in a hometown celebrity. So our sponsors will be able to join in and be able to put a car on the track and hopefully be able to win a trophy and show some pride in the event also. So the Derby's rules will then be also posted on the website. If you have any questions, you can reach out to myself or Morgan for more information.
I just want to add something really quick. Well, now I forgot. There will also be real life Derby cars there. So we'll have a few.
Yeah.
One of our scouts is going to bring his car that he actually races. And then the Speedway, we might have some additional racers out there with their cars as well. So there'll be stuff going on all day for everyone. And everyone is welcome to come. It's not if they won the race and in your specific Derby, it is open to everyone. And so if again any scout if they want to race again, their siblings, their friends, their family, all of that, any alumni Eagles, all of that are welcome to come join.
Yeah, thank you, Morgan. I was going to mention that here at the end, but yeah, no, you're all welcome. We're going to have an open style racing out there, so another chance to fine tune those cars and make another run at it.
All right, sounds like a very fun event. So in the interest of time, I see we're already at almost 7:45, so I think we'll move on from this. But we do want you to kind of be thinking, as Morgan mentioned earlier, of ways that your unit can get involved with some local community events and how you could use those events to promote scouting. And that's something that maybe we'll bring up as a topic again at a future roundtable or during our scouting community meetings. All right, Morgan, are we able to jump back to the main room?
Yes, I'm gonna I just don't know. Let me broadcast something.
You just leave room in the bottom right corner.
Okay, yeah, everyone hit that, and I'm gonna broadcast join main
Don't
section.
hit leave meeting, leave room.
Yes. Okay. Yep, so at the bottom it'll say leave breakout room. Do you see it?
All right. So it looks like maybe the Scouts BSA breakout isn't back yet. I know they had a couple of kind of bigger topics to cover.
They're closing in 46 seconds.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, I see some people coming back from that group. So
Yep.
fantastic. All right, welcome back, everyone. Looks like we have, I think, just about everybody. So we are up to the portion where we have some updates for council projects and council events that are coming up. So first of all, we have some updates and reminders about training. I think I saw Lisa was on. Lisa, are you able to take some of this?
All right. Margaret, are you on? Maybe not. We have two of the specific leader training for outdoor coming up. Cub basic training is May 20th through 21st. This is the basic adult leader outdoor orientation so that you could take your individual scouts, Webelos, bears out on outings other than council events. The other thing that we have coming up is Intro to Outdoor Leader Skills. This is a required training for your training patch for your Scout BSA level. This again is on May 19th through the 21st at Camp Decorah. As Lee and Tim alluded earlier, they also have the Wilderness First Aid course coming up in April. Once again, this is a very limited number of people can participate during this due to the heavy technical things with staffing and how many do it, but they only allow 16 people. So it would be wise to go on within the next few weeks and see if you want to get registered for that. The final thing is the How to Adventure and Training, which is a Cub event that kind of gets us leaders together to share knowledge bases on doing with people bringing in big adventures to help out packs learning how to put on Pinewood derbies, perform ceremonies, take them on hikes, different adventures and crafts and skills that we like to give Cub leaders from other expert leaders that utilize these sources and do these all the time. And that'll be coming in the fall of 2023. With that being said, John, are you on?
I am.
I'll let you do NYLT.
All right. Well, I don't want to sound like a broken record because I know many of you have heard this before, and in many cases I'm preaching to the choir, but we do have National Youth Leadership Training coming up in June. If I'm remembering off the top of my head, it starts on the 11th, whatever that Sunday is, through the following Friday. We're looking for scouts who are first class and have mastered the first class skills, are 13 or completed 8th grade, male or female, and ready to be away from home and buy into the program for the week. we can work with homesickness, but it makes things a lot easier if we got scouts that are ready to be on their own a little bit. We cover a lot of different leadership topics, and especially for troops that have a lot of younger scouts, if you can get a scout in, we cover stages of group formation and problem solving and goal setting and finding a vision and matching leadership to and leadership styles and matching the leadership style to the stage of group formation and matching those to the teaching style. And we have a lot of fun, a lot of games, a lot of challenges to apply all these things, and they make a ton of friends. And if they have a lot of fun and they're good, they may be invited to join our staff next year. And we have staff that come back 3 and 4 years because it's such an awesome program. If you have any questions, you can email me. My information is on the NYLT page on the council website, or you could also email Lisa or our assistant scoutmaster for the course this year, Scott Safransky. I don't know if anybody has any questions right now.
I see one in the chat, John, that when does registration open up? Joe, have we got that figured out yet?
If it isn't there, it should be there anytime now.
There was also a question in chat about registration for some of the adult leader training, when those will be open. Do we have a timeline on that, or?
That's a question for Lisa.
Yeah, I think that we've got a little bit of shuffling of people going on within our training team right now. Our kind of web person is working through some other commitments right now outside of scouting, but you should expect registration for all these to be open up no later than next week, Friday, the 17th.
Yep.
Yeah, I know they're in the process of getting the NYLT one up and running, so that should be very, very soon.
Great, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, plan for all those to be open by February 17th.
Okay.
Great question.
Great. All right, Friends of Scouting presentations. Joe or Morgan, or
I can, yep, I can cover it.
Morgan.
Okay.
So yeah, we're asking that your unit submits a date prior to February 24th. So that is coming up quick here. You would, by submitting the date, that can be, I mean, we're going through January all the way to May. We find, blue and gold, a PAC meeting, a parent meeting, a court of honor, things like that. Pinewood derbies are really busy, so it just really it's not as successful. But again, get your date submitted before February 24th. And then you can receive a voucher for a free night of camping on a site at Camp Decorah, or buy one, get one night at the lodge. You can email my email or go to the website, and there is a form on the website for you to submit as well.
All right, thank you. All right, and then Camp Decorah team visits. I saw Laurel was on earlier. Laurel, are you going to cover this, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So we've had a few submissions so far, but most units still have not had a chance to sign up for visits. So for our promotional visits, we'll be able to show up to your unit at any time that you request, whether that be a meeting or at a blue and gold or at your Pinewood Derby. Anytime that you think would be a good chance for one of the camp staffers or someone on the council camping committee team to go discuss this, all of the summer events that are available for your unit. So we would be giving some sort of presentation to show examples of what's going on, talking about the different themes for the summer, give you a chance to ask any questions that you might have about our programs for SBSA and for Cub Scouts. And then for the Cub Scout presentations, we could also throw in some skits and songs to entertain the kids. Anything that you think would help add value to your trooper pack meetings.
Great, thank you. All right, so we have an update and kind of a change in our Eagle Scout Board of Review.
Dave, do you want to speak to this?
Sure, just a few words on this. Of course, you can see a slide here. We're in the process of trying to shift from our, I'll say, COVID-inspired practice for Eagle Board of Reviews, which we largely went to virtual border reviews to avoid a lot of the obvious problems there. More back toward in-person border reviews. So in the process of doing that, we're finding that we do need to organize it a little differently, to recruit some more Eagle Border Review members, which, by the way, can be any adult member that's interested in doing this. So in the past, we have had some non-scouters that have supported it, sometimes with teaching backgrounds and other appropriate background, but that's something that we can draw on for people that are interested in participating. So we're hoping that we can meet our needs with a meeting of about once a month and get through all the scouts that are progressing through Eagle. So
Yes.
we're trying to do that. And our direction is to expand that volunteer list and also to organize it and find out exactly how we can provide a more direct face-to-face experience for the scouts, which they actually do prefer. They're at an age where they have matured and they're ready to show their stuff. So we want to make sure that they get the opportunity. So the training that right now is planned for March 8th. We're still trying to put that together. So watch out for more information on that.
Really, we're just trying to build a bank of people so that each month when the Eagle boards are occurring, if we need to support, for example, 3 boards of reviews in 1 month, we would need a team of, a team of 6 or 9 people to do so. And we're not looking for people to need to do a border review every month, but if we can build a good sized team, there's opportunity to plug in as often as you'd like, or even just a few times each year. Really can be a neat experience. You get to interact with, with our scouts as they achieve that mountaintop experience.
So as part of that, as Joe said, we're going to try to identify a regular planned date each month where we do that and organize around that to help everybody.
All right, great. Thank you for the update. All right, it is time to start thinking about scouting for food. So Morgan has some information about what we need to be doing for that.
Yeah, so it's going to be similar to the last couple of years, I believe. It's where you just are going to put in the request for the date that you want to distribute. Well, first you'll need to send in a request of how many you'll need, the date that you will be distributing the stickers, and then the date for pickup that we can put on the labels. You will need to put the labels onto the stickers yourselves. So just make sure to incorporate that time into your planning. But you can email me we can get that put in. And then after you submit the amount of food that's been collected, you can get a patch.
All right, great. And I know we do have some newer volunteers. And if you're unfamiliar with scouting for food, I'm sure that you can reach out to Morgan for some more information about what that is and how you could get it going in your community. So we also will have time at the in the March scouting community breakouts to do a little bit of collaboration and kind of communication about when this might be happening in each of the local areas.
Matt, can I
Yeah.
say something? Sorry. The scouting for food is a great opportunity for you to take pictures of your scouts with what food is being collected, and then use that as a picture on your advertising for promoting community service events that your scouts are doing. When you're promoting the good things that scouting does, promoting that food pickup is a really good opportunity to do that. So get your cameras out and take a bunch of pictures, and try and not get them to be blurry ones, but it's really good opportunity.
All right. Yeah, that's a great point. All right, we've got Polar Day Camp coming up very soon.
Laurel?
Oh, there we go.
Is Laurel still on?
All right.
Okay.
So yes. So Polar Day Camp is coming up in a couple weeks. We've got our activities all lined up. Now, granted, this is weather permitting. It looks like it's going to be warm for the next 2 weeks. So if we happen to not have as much snow or ice left, we'll be making alternate plans. But you can count on having things like maple syrup candy for the kids to make, a nature hike, talking about cold weather preparedness and kid level first aid for understanding hypothermia and how they should rest warm, how to be careful walking on ice, things like that, as well as broom ball. And then again, weather permitting, ice fishing and sledding.
All right, great. And registration is open on the website for this, correct?
Yes, yes, it is.
All right, very good. All right, I think Eric was going to talk a little bit about the Wood Badge dinner.
Yes, in 16 short days, there's going to be a Wood Badge Fellowship dinner at the First Lutheran Church in Onalaska. If you can hear my voice right now, you need to attend. So this is not just for people that have already taken the Wood Badge course. This is for everybody. So the purpose of this is to rekindle the Wood Badge friendships that have already been made and to promote the upcoming 2024 course. So if you're curious about what Wood Badge, what it is all about, this is not the course itself, but this is just a fun evening to learn about the course and just to have a lot of fellowship. And I gotta say that the meal is supposed to be ribs, guys. So, you know, that's pretty awesome. So ribs and cornbread, baked potatoes and green beans. I'll see you there.
All right, great.
I think we had a date wrong on there. Saturday, February 25th.
That is correct. It is not the 23rd, it is the 25th.
Okay.
All right, thank
Thanks,
you.
Scott. You just sent it in the chat.
Yep. All right, we'll update that before we post this online.
Yep.
All right, and then we also have the Golden Eagle coming up.
Yeah, if you had this on your radar to attend, please note that the registration deadline is coming up here next week so that we can comply with some of the planning needs for a big catered event like that. But some things to know that are occurring that evening. We're going to hear from one of our local Eagle Scouts that has a really inspiring backstory about how scouting helped him. We've also got some scouters attending from Appleton that were part of the Amtrak train derailment back in June. And then of course the keynote speaker, former Green Bay Packer, Amon Green. This is our biggest single fundraiser of the year. Helps us start the year in a good shape that way and allows us to maintain our priorities of keeping activity and programming costs low and not having a direct council fee for our scouts. Also, once again, look for the online auction to be part of this event. So plenty of ways to participate, even if you can't join us on Thursday, March 2nd.
Thank you, Joe. All right, and then we have an event to recognize many things happening in Gateway
Alan?
Area Scouting.
Hey, good evening. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep, we got you.
All right. Hey, our Gateway Area Scouting Recognition event where we're going to recognize Eagle Scouts from 2022. Highlights from all the packs, troops, crews, posts, some volunteer project teams. We're also going to recognize our Silver Beaver Awards and District Award of Merit recipients. And we also have the NISA Outstanding Eagle. The date of this year event will be March 28th. It's a Tuesday, and it'll be at Camp Decorah, starting at 6:30. And registration cost would be $15. Include heavy appetizers, dessert, soft drinks. And as this is a recognition dinner for adult Silver Beaver recipients and District Award of Merit recipients, if you know some outstanding scouter who has been active in the district, active in the council, it is our time to recognize them. Please put in a nomination for either the Silver Beaver or the Award of Merit. Application or nomination forms can be found at the online or at the council website. Any other questions?
I just wanted
Those nominations go to, sorry.
Oh.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Sorry, so registration open today, so that's up and available. And then also to submit pictures of Eagle Scouts, volunteers, units, anything like that. There is links to submit that both on the website and on the Facebook event page. And I will be emailing those out also by the beginning of next week.
All right, thank you, Ashley. And then if somebody does have a nomination for Silver Beaver or District Award, who should they direct that to?
You can send that to myself by email, or if it's a paper copy, you can just get it here to the service center. We would like to have those by Monday, February 19th, if possible.
All right, thank you. Great way to recognize lots of amazing things going on in the Gateway Area Council. All right, this one is a little bit out there, but we definitely want to promote Cub Night at the museum.
Yes, so it is going to be capped at 75 scouts. So we do want to, registration is open for that. The museum's going to be open additional hours. We're going to have a few other stations hidden throughout the museum as well, for scouts to make their way through the museum and experience it in a way that they typically wouldn't be able to. So it's $25 or $20 for scouts and $5 for youth. For adults, and a snack will be provided, but again, make sure to get those registrations in as soon as possible, because it will be capped.
Thank you, Morgan. All right, and now we've got kind of a fun event coming up for the adults.
Yes, we have the Pintwood Derby coming up on April 12th from 6 to 8 at Sand Creek Brewing out in Black River Falls. $40 gets you a car kit, so the adults actually get to make their cars this time. You get a tasting glass and beer in that tasting glass for the event. So pretty good deal. This is 21 plus, no kids, please. But yeah, a chance to really see what the parents got to make some cars.
All right, good way to celebrate at the end of Pinewood Derby season as well. So fun event. All right, so some other events to keep in mind. We've got, and we did mention most of these. We've got that Pinewood Derby coming up in April, as well as the Council Pinewood Derby. And then there is there are plans in the work for a spring camporee out at Fort McCoy. Do we have anything else we want to tease about this at this point, or are we gonna?
I do just want to add one little thing. There will be a council-wide crossover event or happening at the campfire that evening, Saturday evening. So packs that aren't having the blue and gold or things like that, this will be an opportunity for those Webelos to cross over, and lots of other fun, exciting things I think that we'll be sharing in the coming months.
Great. Yep. So please attend Roundtable a month from today. March 9th, we will have more updates and information about that event as well as others. That roundtable will have scouting community breakouts, so you have a chance to get together with other volunteers and leaders from your own geographical area at that. So we hope to see you all a month from now. With that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to Joe quickly for a Gateway Scouting Minute, and then I believe we have a poll.
Yeah, certainly want to, just echo Eric's enthusiasm for that wood badge gathering coming up on March 25th or February 25th. And that's not just for people that have been through the training. So if you want to be around a fun group of people and participate in some excellent scouting camaraderie with excellent food, I encourage you to check that event out. And, perhaps that can be the journey of you receiving some really significant and exciting scouting as an adult in the next year. But that's a conversation for another time, but certainly come out for ribs that evening, and also plan for that recognition event on the 28th of March. Last year we had almost 200 people in the room, and it was a great celebration of our year of scouting. We've got just as much to celebrate this year. It's been another excellent 12 months in the council.
All right, great. Thank you, Joe. We do appreciate your feedback, and we use it to make future plans. So when the poll pops up, if you could take just a moment to answer a couple of questions, we would appreciate it. But
Matt,
we do appreciate you joining us. Yes.
Matt, I did not put a poll.
No poll. Okay.
But email me all your thoughts.
Yeah. So you have our emails. Let us know what you think if you have ideas, and we'll see you all next month.
Thanks
Thanks for joining us.